Hey, what's up everyone? This is the 18th day of me posting questions to the Quora Partner Program and the 17th day of them posting revenues to my account. I apologize, there's been a fairly significant delay between the previous video and this, but I've been traveling quite a lot, and to be honest, there hasn't been anything too dramatic happening on the account. I've maintained, I'd say, roughly a 15 to 20 question average over the last week or so. So it's dropped from when I first started, but I'm still surpassing that $10 or 10 question a day average that the partner program sets as a default goal. If we go into what probably most people care about, the earnings, those 17 days have netted me $18.65. So we're still hovering around that $1 a day average. But as you see over the last 7 days, it's a little bit above that $1 a day. So over those 7 days, $10. So it's increasing a little bit off that $1 a day, but not nearly as quickly as I had thought. Let's see what else is interesting here. I did some math on this your questions total. It's at 642. That, over the course of the 18 days, puts me at about 35 questions a day. That seems very steep based on my recent lack of questions the last week. So I'm thinking this number is inclusive of questions that I asked prior to the Quora Partner Program. Still not 100% sure though, because I haven't been keeping a really accurate count of my questions. I've just known that I've been well above the 10 questions a day average. If we go to my top earning questions, you'll see I have a new top earning question, and it is a question about Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, I've asked a ton of questions about Game of Thrones because I like the show, but I haven't read the book, so I have a lot of legitimate questions that I've been posting, but they haven't done nearly as well as this one. So, per usual here, I am not really catching much of a theme or a thread of consistency of what generates revenues versus doesn't. The thickness planar question is still pretty high up at the second place, but I'm pretty sure this number hasn't budged very much from that last video, but it's still in the second place. I got a Lowe's Home Depot question, a relocation question, and a genealogy question, followed by that electrical question. So again, no real theme on what is generating the most revenues for me or the most views. Speaking of views, however, I have been paying a little bit more attention to them. This is, as far as I know, far and away the highest view count I have. I haven't gone through all 642, but when I scroll through quickly, very few of my questions have actually surpassed 1,000 views, actually. But even passing 1,000 doesn't necessarily make you more money. It has to do with these ad impressions and the ratio of traffic sources. So you can see I got 33 cents from something that only has 307 views. But I am intrigued by view count because I actually have a commenter on a previous video, a person by the name of Arxo, that is apparently killing it on the Quora Partner Program. They started roughly the same time as I have, and they're getting a tremendous amount of views on questions almost immediately. And the pointer that that person gave me was they do better with longer form questions and questions that have almost like a high school math or a high school physics homework question vibe to it. So like has like a math component and numbers within the questions. So I've started asking questions in that same vein, and I have noticed I get a tremendous amount of views really quickly on those. I have not been getting revenues though, or not much off of those. So I'm thinking it has to do with that community being really active and really enjoying answering questions. But I don't know if, for whatever reason, the questions that I'm asking, the ad providers don't see like a connection with their product, if that's how it works. So something I must be missing there, but it is interesting. I'm getting a tremendous amount of views off those question types. Speaking of questions, I've never yet asked a question during one of these videos, so I want to show you this process and call out something that's different that I just noticed on the mobile version versus the desktop version. So this is the desktop version. And I gotta think of a question here. Sorry for the delay here, it's a long question. With the hitter. And I'm sure there's spelling errors or grammatical errors in there. I'm trying to do it real time here, which probably isn't the best form, but we're gonna go ahead and submit this. And it's got kind of a physics vibe to it. It doesn't unfortunately have numbers in it, but I'm going to add question, and you'll see what Quora does here. They automatically populate with, based on the words in your question, what they think the topics are. So they give me Major League Baseball and baseball as 2. I'm going to add physics, and I'm actually going to get rid of Major League Baseball because I don't think I necessarily want to ask that population of people. And I'm going to add physics of everyday life, I think it's called, because that is a big group of people. Physics of everyday life. So here you see, actually, so this is very odd. Right now, it's showing me that I have there's 1.7 million followers of this group, and for whatever reason, when I just did another question on here, it didn't show this number. But I was thinking it was a difference between the mobile version and the desktop version. But for whatever reason now it is showing me the follower count. So maybe that is not a difference. But I'm going to go ahead and add physics of everyday life and just physics, because I just noticed that physics had 8.8 million viewers. And I'm going to go down here and confirm those topics. And then from here, I can invite 25 people to answer this question. And you can select which topics you want to focus on. So I'm going to focus on physics of everyday life. And I'm just going to click on people that I want to answer. Usually I'll just go down and run down and put 25 people in order, but I think if I was smarter about it, I would try to find people who answered more questions in their given field. But for the sake of time here, let me just ask 25, and hopefully you'll see another thing that happens here. There's a delay. The Quora site has a really long delay on my, and of course it won't do it when I'm actually showing here. A lot of times I can invite like more than 25 people because this thing tallies up so much slower. So I don't know if it's a way to actually invite more than 25 people or if it automatically blocks those people and the delay just doesn't catch it numerically here, but it does stop you from inviting those people. This was not a good example of that. It truly stopped me at 25 people, but I'm going to hit done. And now that question is posted, and you see I have 21 questions asked. And let me refresh it. I forget what I had before. I thought I had 21 before, actually. Because that is another thing that has a fairly substantial delay on it, is this will take a while to go up and count the new questions as you ask, if you ask them rapid fire. But that's all I want to show you on the dashboard for now. Next, I want to show you the spreadsheet I've been keeping. Let me get this a little bit smaller. I'll delete this. We have 3 columns here that are depicted in the graph. It's the days I have active, which is this axis down here, and then my daily earnings posting are in the green line here, and those numbers are tracked on this left axis here, and then my cumulative earnings are on the right axis. So based on the fact that my earnings are going to continue to grow on existing questions and new questions, my thought was that this curve was going to be a lot more dramatic than it is here. They are seemingly going up a little bit over time, but not kind of that, let's say, hockey stick like growth that I was hoping. The cumulative, though, luckily is continuing to go up because I am earning every day. So beggars can't really be choosers here, and I'm almost to $20 on my 17th day of posting. Well, I'm at $18.50 roughly on the 17th day of posting. This axis is just grabbing the days active here. That is pretty much the extent of what happened. Oh, so one final thing. I have gone in and I created a Stripe account and then added my bank account to that. It turns out, if I'm reading the terms of service correctly, you don't get paid until after the 30th day, and that is dependent on you having $10 of earnings, which I do. But even after that 30th day, there can be up to a 60-day lead time on getting paid. So I don't know where within that 30 to 60 days, 30 to 90 days, I should say, I will see payment posted, but that will be the true test of whether this was effective or not, whether that actually gets given to me. So I will keep you guys up to date with more videos. Please subscribe. I'm also trying to get my subscriber count above 1,000 so that I can earn money through YouTube again as well. But I'm obviously not to the 1,000 subscriber threshold, so that would be super helpful if you could go ahead and hit subscribe, and I will keep producing these videos. Thanks a lot for watching.